Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. And today we're back for another mini episode of the podcast. And today we're going to debate Mike Evans and Julio Jones. Mike Evans has gotten a lot of comments based off your Mike Evans rank. You know, basically, like on Instagram, we make some posts. My favorite one, we actually just posted this the other day, just said Jeff is an idiot. So there's
my favorite.
That's
argument.
my argument already. Jeff is an idiot. And if you don't know why, Jeff actually put Mike Evans as number one this year, which seems how people are thinking, wow, that's crazy. Jeff, where did Mike Evans finish last year?
Number one.
Okay. So I'm not going for Evans here, but I just want to. And Jeff isn't necessarily an idiot. He did finish number one last year. So
yeah, and I get why people are upset. Antonio Brown, some of those, especially Antonio Brown, I get why people would be upset there. Julio, on the other hand, I think this is a very good debate. This is where more of the
I
have no problem defending Mike Evans versus Julio.
And I didn't give you I could have gone Antonio Brown here and really messed you up.
That would have been a more difficult one.
You know what? I wanted to give you a chance because I just would have won everything there. Jeff, here, what's your Mike Evans argument? Why is Evans one for you, and why is he better than Julio? Like, what is it for you?
First of all, both are phenomenal. Love to have both of them on my team. Well, let's start off. Evans was number one. He's proven he can do it before, and the majority of the case against him right now is the fact that he was so volume driven, which I can't argue that point. He very much was. You're thinking Deshaun Jackson is going to come on the team, O.J. Howard, so people are thinking he's going to lose, I don't know, up 30 receptions or something like that, or at least the targets, I should say. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think maybe he goes down a bit, but I also am banking on the fact that I think Jameis Winston is going to take another step further. So last year he went up about 30 passing attempts, right? His rushing remained about the same, but was far less effective. I think they're going to give him more chances. I still think Mike Evans is by far the best option on that team. He's still a huge red zone threat. And, O.J. Howard, maybe he will take a few here and there. But once again, rookie tight ends aren't necessarily the hugest offensive weapon. And Deshaun Jackson, if anything else, might actually help him because after he blew up for the first half of the year, they really just ended up focusing all of their efforts on him. I mean, other than that, who did they really have? They had Humphreys and Cameron Brate. And nothing against those guys, but it's not exactly the scariest people. You're going to say, hey, those two guys come beat me. Now with Deshaun Jackson, even at his age, he's still pretty fast. He can stretch the field. I think he'll take a little pressure off of him, and hopefully O.J. Howard does too. And their run game I like Doug Martin a lot, but he's suspended for the first few games, and you don't know how that's going to go. So I still think Evans is going to get a huge amount of volume. I think he can actually kind of improve on his numbers. I think he'll hit 100 receptions. And maybe I'm the only guy here, but I truly believe that he's going to have another double-digit TD season. Mm-hmm. And Julio, you can talk about him, but he was banged up. And if one of the arguments was Evans didn't do it down the stretch, really neither did Julio because he was banged up. He missed a few games at the end of the season, and he didn't catch a touchdown. I think his last 5 games out.
He only had 6 all year. Yeah, so.
And he's never actually had a lot of TDs either.
No, he's only had 1 year where he even had 10. Yeah. He had 1 season out of his 6 seasons. He had 1 season of 10. That was in year 2. I just think last year he was injured. I think it hurt his production. He still had 83 catches for 1,400 yards.
Still very productive. 17
yards per catch. Pretty impressive. I just think he was injured and it really hurt him. Because how good was that team last year? You think Julio's numbers would have even got better. It's just he'd have a lot of down. He had games where he did nothing a couple times. I think he was a decoy those games.
He didn't have to, really.
It was like the Calvin Johnson thing a couple years ago where he was a decoy. He was hurt, but they still put him out there to be a decoy. If you go back to 2015, 136 catches for 1,800 yards. Man, that's good. That's his last full healthy season, just a year before.
It's amazing.
He's still only going to be 28 years old. It's not like this guy's 31. He's only going to be 28. He's not. Oh, I mean, Evans. Yeah, Evans is actually really young too. I get that. I'm not worried. It's not
Much younger.
This is more of a Julio thing.
Yeah.
I think that offense is even better than it was in 2015. Obviously, it's just he didn't get to take advantage of it being injured all year. That's pretty much it.
It's true.
He's going to get. Yeah, I think they're spreading the ball around more because it is good like that, but that also can help him because there's other targets, there's other people to worry about. He just did not get to take advantage of it being injured. That's my whole basis of this.
Yeah.
Is I think 2015 was so good, and that's really more. He's not going to get 136 catches probably and 1,800 yards. He had 203 targets that year.
First of all, there'd be no reason to do that. Their team is way too good. He could get to 100 receptions, and the yardage will be there. Obviously, you saw that. But there's no way, even if he did get to 136 receptions, his body would not be able to hold up under that strain.
That is still insane looking at that number.
Even with that, which is mind-blowing, that he got 1,871 yards. Crazy 2 years ago. But even with that, he only had 8 touchdowns. And
that's the
I
weird
would,
thing
I
is
would
the touchdowns.
call it a fluke if it wasn't consistent throughout his entire career. I mean,
it really, that is true.
I mean, the last 3 years when he had 1,400 yards or above each of those, and he had 6 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns.
Yep. And I guess, the thing that people, even last year, he had great numbers had a game of 1 for 16, 2 for 29, 3 for 29, 4 for 35. He had 4 games like that. That's the worry with Julio. I think it's just the injuries that's why that was that. He only had 129 targets last year. I can see that going back to 150, 160.
Yeah, and
that's where it should be. His numbers are going to 100 receptions.
Right.
Why can't he have another 1,500 yards then? He can.
Could.
Easily.
He could.
If the touchdowns tick up at all, I mean, he's unreal.
Maybe I would put him, maybe I would argue for him if the touchdowns weren't so consistent. I mean, really, if you throw the 2 outliers out, he's had 8 twice and 6 twice.
Yeah.
Then he had 2 1 year when he was hurt, and then 10 1 year. But he also had another surgery, the 3rd one, on that foot this offseason.
He feels older than 28, doesn't he?
He's one of the best. I think he might just be talent-wise and physically the best wide receiver in football.
I believe that too, and I think I'm banking on a healthy year, but that's what I'm going for. So
and that is, I totally understand that. But even with that much more yardage, assuming that Evans doesn't regress a ton on those touchdowns, which I don't personally think so. I think 10 is pretty safe to say. That's me. They would still be insanely close. Yep. So I would rather go for the younger guy with a quarterback that can improve, and he would improve with him.
It's not like I have them too far apart. I have Julio second, Evans third. So
yeah.
Not big of a difference, but we'll see. It'd be a nice one to see this year. But I think that's it for Evans versus Julio.
Yeah.
That'll be an interesting one to watch. And are you going to pick Evans if they're both on the board?
I would, yeah.
You're going to? Even over Brown? Are you changing it? You've dug in. You've dug in.
I know. I kind of have dug in. That one's going to be interesting when I do my when I finally solidify my ranks or whatever. When I redo them this next time, those two are going to be kind of neck and neck. Yep. Yeah, we can talk about Antonio Brown at another time. But
too many Jeff is an idiot comments.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I kind of like it. They're not entirely wrong.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow with another episode. We're going to do our trending up, trending down players. Players we're up on, players we're down on. We'll get to that, and we'll talk to you guys next time.